Cheers. Can I cheers, everybody?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
That's for sure.
Right, Sean?
Everybody.
All right. So this is a really big night for Salt Lake City. It has been almost 2 decades since the city had a housing plan. And when I came into office, one of the priorities was to make sure that we started addressing affordable housing and reached out to this amazing team and said, create the path. And anything goes, like dream path. What does that look like for you? And in about, 10 months, the plan had been hatched. It's been vetted for another 10 months. And here we are today, really having an opportunity to celebrate. Tonight, I'll be signing an executive memo that will give clear direction to our department directors and our division directors, helping them move forward this plan by giving them opportunity to be informed on what our first step needs to be. And we'll do multiple executive memos to make sure that this plan gets implemented over the coming year and that we are very successful in getting the funding that has been set aside into our housing market and more housing created for this community that is truly affordable. And for me, a big priority that is making sure that we have housing in our housing stock by June of 2019 for those who will be transitioning out of a homeless resource center and into a truly affordable housing unit for them, to make sure that there is real opportunity for them to be successful when they leave a resource center, enter into a housing unit, and are not overcome by the expense of trying to afford a place to live. So we have many goals, we are ready to roll, and we are very excited about our future and the future of Salt Lake City when it comes to affordable housing and creating a city for everyone. So thank you for being here.
Mayor, what do you think the first concrete, this is a framework as we heard talk about tonight, what's the first kind of concrete action you expect?
Yeah, so why don't I read this so you have a chance to know what it says. So this is our first executive memo. It's regarding the proposed ordinance evaluating use of city-owned land for affordable housing. Whereas Salt Lake City is in the midst of a mounting housing crisis that impacts our residents' ability to reliably find safe, secure housing options for themselves and their families. And whereas Salt Lake City must lead by example and investigate every barrier to the creation of new affordable housing in the city and steward solutions that will bring this crisis to a close. And whereas through the adoption of GrowingSLC, a 5-year plan, the Salt Lake City Council has supported my administration's vision for shaping the future of housing development in Salt Lake City. Now therefore, I, Jacqueline M. Biskupski, Mayor of Salt Lake City, do hereby order all relevant city departments, divisions, and agencies to strengthen the leveraging of city-owned land by presenting the Mayor's office an ordinance modification that would require evaluating the inclusion of affordable housing in surplus land disposition for real property assets owned by the city no later than January 31st, 2018. Thank you. Yeah, so what we were trying to do was meet a demand based on what we know is needed in this market. So part of that housing is already underway. Some of it we're hoping we'll get some tax credits right now in this month of December And then some of it, we will leverage the money that the city council has allocated so that we can get this affordable housing into the market over the next couple of years.
So by leveraging, do you mean like if a developer comes in, you can give them priority or a tax break or something to build affordable units?
No, we're really looking at partnerships and bringing money from the private sector into the mix to help us leverage these dollars and get these projects off the ground much more quickly and enable us to create projects where there is mixed income involved in those projects, that the mix is such a way and the support, the private support is implemented in such a way that you can bring in that truly affordable piece of 40% and below AMI into the project itself.
Do you think 1,000 units is attainable by next year?
Not by next year. I think we have missed some opportunities around that. What I will say though is by June of 2019, we'll have probably more like 700, 500 to 700 units that will be completed. And for me, a big piece of that, again, goes back to making sure we have about 400 units for people to transition in and out of resource centers into a truly affordable housing unit for them.
And as I understand, you had just mentioned mixed income. So I know that sometimes the city and the housing authority have been buying up hotels. Those won't necessarily just be all low income, it'll be mixed.
Oh yeah, I think all projects in the city will be a mix. And it's really how affordable can you make the mix in order for the project to pencil out. And so it will require some private-public partnerships to be developed.
And when, I know in big cities like Seattle and stuff, they sometimes make requirements that a certain number of your units, if you build an apartment complex, have to be affordable. Does the city have anything like that, or is that part of the plan?
So we have, as the mayor said, the plan is really a framework. We have transmitted, and the council anticipates reviewing an inclusionary ordinance, an inclusionary zoning ordinance in January. This is really the first step in a conversation. It is not, we are not proposing an ordinance at this time, but we are proposing to have that conversation as we know it's an important matter for many advocates in our community.
So to have the conversation if possible, make that a requirement.
Yes, right.
Yes.
But in property that we own, we are requiring a certain percentage of housing units to be affordable.
So a lot of cities are dealing with similar issues to Salt Lake. Where do you think this ordinance puts the city in context of the larger picture of affordable housing in cities like Seattle, like San Francisco, like New York?
So go ahead and say your piece.
Sorry, which ordinance, the inclusionary zoning or the more surplus
This
land
plan,
base?
more specific, I guess. Where does
The
that?
plan itself.
Yeah.
I think the opportunity and the ambition that we are putting forward is we don't think there's one solution. And I think when you look at other cities around the country, what we've been able to learn is they've tried one thing, they've gone back, they've tried another thing. And so the benefit that we had is we've laid out a plan that says it is going to take multiple things to attack this. And we've set a very short time period. We have 5 years to get some of these things underway and really determine what fits our city. And so that is the power that I think is in the plan in terms of laying out the strategy.
Yeah, real tight timeline for implementation, and that's very intentional. We want to hold ourselves accountable to achieving some housing that is really, truly, desperately needed in this community.
Even though this is more of a broad housing plan, where would you be without it though? What would happen if this wasn't penciled?
Yeah, so there was no clear direction of where we were heading or why we were heading any particular place. It was project driven rather than, a master plan for the city. And I think we really needed that to make sure that as we're implementing affordable housing into our community, that we are creating a real equitable situation in our city. And that spattering wasn't really creating that for us. And that's a big piece for me.
And also, the plan isn't just for the city. I mean, we under the leadership, we have been able to engage all of the departments and divisions, which is huge if you actually want to get a plan done. But then it's our community and the members and saying to them, here's what we'd like to do. How do we work together to get it done? Because we cannot do it alone.